And we are live. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to another Friday live stream here. I'm palmbeachespaul, your host, and it's Friday, the live stream where I invite you guys to come in and ask questions, leave comments, and we kind of talk about the week we had in South Florida, what a week it was, talk about some new stuff that's going on, some new things in the news, and also talk about just anything that you might want to know about living here in South Florida. I am prepared this time, so I do have a cocktail ready. So cheers, happy Friday to everyone, happy weekend. I'm drinking a Florida beer, Florida Avenue, Luminescence. It's a IPA, kind of tropical IPA, but anyway, cheers. That's good. So it has been a crazy week here in South Florida. Most notably, we were flooded. Places like Fort Lauderdale, the people were on, I don't know if you saw it, but there was someone that had a video on Instagram. There was a guy literally swimming in the middle of Broward Boulevard. They had so much rain down there. They had something like 25 inches of rain in a few hours. It was, I mean, like they're using terms like 2,000 years, right? 2,000 year storm, like biblical. It was crazy. The amount of flooding they got down there was just insane. It shut down Fort Lauderdale International Airport. So it was bad. It's like, you know, we've all been talking in South Florida about how dry it is. It has been so dry this winter. My wife and I did some yard work. You know, our backyard was just like, just bad. So we went and bought some grass, and I was watering it every night. Even a couple, 3 times a day, because there was no rain at all, which we're kind of used to that because the winter season is our dry season, right? We were in the tropics and it rains all summer, but it was really, really dry this year. And then it was weird because she was away the other weekend when I did this last Friday. She was up in the Outer Banks, and I saw the weather and the wind and the crazy weather she was having up there. And she got down here and it's like the weather followed her, and it just was like super windy, almost tropical force winds. I would bet that if, you know, I didn't pay that much attention. I mean, I wasn't worried about anything, and especially where we are, we're fine. Even though we live on a lake, you know, we had no flooding at all. It was just like regular rain. Thank God the grass got lots of rain. It sat over Fort Lauderdale though, so they got hammered down there. And there were parts of, you know, Palm Beach County that had a lot of rain too. I didn't do much driving during this time. I was home working on videos and just working, so I didn't really see too much of it. But the winds. I remember at night, like going to sleep, and the winds were just blowing. And we have shutters on the second story, and they were just rattling. And that reminds me of kind of like summer when we get those bad storms. So it was crazy to see that much rain and winds that strong in April. Just not what we typically get here in South Florida. So, but thank God we're okay. I feel for those. I saw some TikTok videos of people who had homes down there that were flooded, and it's just, you know, it sucks every time that happens. It's never good, and you know, but we live in Florida, and we know that those things are going to happen. You know, so if it starts raining really hard and multiple rain, are you wanting to come on video? Because I'm live, so you're gonna. This is my wife. She's just popping her head in. Such a goofball. So, but yeah, we know living in Florida that, you know, that could happen, but seeing it happen in April was really strange. So, but anyway, so I see we've got a couple people on. Won't you guys do me a favor? We are going to make this interactive. If you're going to watch, you got to put your name over here and say hello, say where you're from, say something. Don't worry, you're not going to show your face. No one's going to see you. You could be in hiding and no one would know. You can use a fake name. Most people do. So, but need you to leave a comment so we know who's on and I can say hello to you. So please do that. I appreciate you coming on. And so we got a couple things to talk about today. So cheers. We're going to get to it. But yeah, so excuse me. Yeah, so Fort Lauderdale got hit pretty hard. My yard got lots of rain. Thank you. Love it. And it's nice and green and grass is growing. And I have a lawn to mow. But it was crazy. And then those of you up in the Northeast are getting spring and summer like temperatures. So the world is crazy right now with the weather. So we'll see what happens this summer. Hopefully it is not a sign of what we're going to be dealing with here this summer. I'm hoping that we have a nice quiet summer after last summer. And Hurricane Ian did a big number on a lot of people. So because of the hurricanes, because of the storms that have been hitting Florida, that kind of leads me into talking to you guys about, there we go, sunshine. Thank you. Welcome. Happy Friday. Leland, the glass, Leland glass. Yeah, nice. Thank you guys for popping on. So there's been some changes, and I'm going to try to remember as much of this as I can. I was making a video about it, but there are some big changes coming to the insurance here in the state of Florida. And a lot of that has to do with what just happened with the flooding. So Citizens, which is the state insurance here, always considered the last resort for people that were getting insurance. If they couldn't get it from other providers, they ended up going to Citizens. And now Citizens has grown to be the number one provider of insurance. Like, they have the most policies here in the state of Florida. So now they're the largest insurer in the state of Florida for homeowners. And some new laws were passed that, and there's some new things coming out with the insurance and some new stuff that's going on with Citizens, where as of April 1st, any person who bought a home that's in a flood zone has to have flood insurance. So that's always been kind of the norm from when we're talking to mortgage people. If you have a loan, typically if you're in a flood zone, you have to have flood insurance because the lender wants you to have it. Yet only 65% of people in the state of Florida who are in that type of situation where they have a federally backed loan and they're financing have flood insurance. So a whole bunch of people still don't. Come July 1st, everyone that's with Citizens in a flood zone will also have to get flood insurance. So, hey, Delaney, welcome. Thank you. Welcome locally. Yeah, you were here for the rain up in West Palm Beach. So you saw the rain. So those are two of the changes. But then the plan is to roll it out over the next 4 years. So then what's going to happen is come January 1st of 2023, anyone that has a home valued at like $600,000 will have to get it. Now, there is one exception. I was reading this, that if they don't have a wind insurance, I guess as long as if they don't have, I believe the way it said, if they don't have a wind insurance policy, then they don't have to have the flood insurance. So and I think they said there's like 3,000 policies that have that or don't have that, however you want to put it. But come the first of 2024, they'll have to get a policy. Then it's going to roll out to the next year. It'll go to people with a $500,000 like value if their home's valued somewhere in that $500,000, the insurable value, and then $400,000. And what will end up happening is by 2027, every single person in the state of Florida, regardless of where you live, and here's the big catch about that, even if you're not in a flood zone, if you're with Citizens, you will have to buy flood insurance. And that's going to affect a lot of people. So they currently have, I think they said that will be with the number of insurance policies, so it's 1.7 million people with flood insurance policies. And if you add the Citizens to it, will be like 1.2 million more people will have flood insurance. So it's going to be a lot of people that it's going to affect. And, I talked to a friend about this, and some of the policies are very low, like $200 or $300 a year for non-flood zones. And then I think, but then it can also go as high as like 10 and 12,000. I saw really, really high numbers for certain places. So it's just something that's going to be part of Florida. And a lot of that is stemming from all the damage and the claims that came out of Hurricane Ian. They said that only, I think, 18% of the people had flood insurance over there. And in the number of homes that were flooded from Hurricane Ian and had flood damage was just astronomical. There's just so many of them, and they don't have flood insurance to cover it. So, and I'm not an insurance, expert. I do want to I've thought about bringing someone on to talk about it. But I just, it's big news. And then the biggest news out of that was that Citizens Insurance could go up by 40 to 50% by July 1st. So, I have family members that are with Citizens that, and we talk about it, and it's hard. People are fixed. We're going through a tight recession right now, right? We're in hard times for people, and to get told that, hey, you've got an extra $300 or $400 a month that you have to pay, just doesn't cut it for some people. So, and me as a realtor, it makes it difficult for me because I'm trying to help people buy homes and trying to get people to move here. So, it's out of my control. It's news, it's newsworthy. So I share it with you people. So it is something you really have to think about when you're looking at homes, is, the insurance and the fact that you will at some point have flood insurance, whether you're in a flood zone or not, is on, with Citizens. Now, I don't know how that goes for the other insurers out there. There are other insurance companies out there. I know the state of Florida is working to bring more people back to Florida, more companies, and make it a little bit more friendly for them to be here in Florida, which will hopefully drive the cost down for all of us, because then if there's more competition, hopefully there's more competitive prices. But Jeremy Jackson, entire state of Florida should be a designated flood zone. Well, your wish may come true, man. Jeremy, it may be that, the way as far as Citizens is concerned, it is, and everyone's going to have flood insurance no matter where you live. And the interesting thing that I spoke to my friend at Allstate was that, and I didn't know this, but certain condos now, you would think a condo being high up, right? You don't necessarily need flood insurance, except maybe, unfortunately, you saw what happened over on the West Coast. Even third story condos got flooded. But say a penthouse, right? We have condos here that are like 21 stories. They still have to have flood insurance, even though the master policy covers the condo building and everything out there. And normally you'd only have to have interior content insurance to cover the interior of your condo. You now also have to have flood insurance if you're in a flood zone. So, yeah, there's a lot of flood talk around here, and we haven't even got into hurricane season or our rainy season, which is starts, I think, late, like May. So, overall, it's a little bit of a crazy situation with the real estate in Florida and the insurance. All we can do is hope it gets better. I live here, as I've told you guys. I'm not leaving Florida, so not unless the wife and I decide, hey, we're packing up and going somewhere else, and I don't see that anytime in the near future. So it is something that we'll just be dealing with. But yeah, so insurance, fun stuff. All right, I got to take a drink here. It's enough. I'm going to bring the show down. We're talking about all this flood insurance and flooding. Sorry, guys, my throat's a little sticky today. I hope they don't make you get flood insurance if you live on the 10th floor of a condominium. Well, Blacklight, that's listen, don't quote me, as I'm not an insurance agent, right? But I did ask someone about that, and she said her person they're getting insurance for did live high up on in a condo on the water, and they did have to get an insurance policy. So, and it's kind of, I know it's if we have a flood that's so high that it's affecting the 10th story of a condo, folks, we got a lot more problems to worry about. I mean, I'm SOL, and you know what that stands for. So if there's a wave coming that big, palmbeachespaul and kiss it goodbye. I better get a surfboard and ride it off to the sunset, because that's a lot of water. So I hope we never have anything like that hit Florida, but that would be pretty scary. So I'm not sure what their reasons are behind that. It's something I'll probably look more into, but yeah, well, not for a while. Someone brought that up. Someone said that Miami's been. I don't think. I mean, you can never say never, right? But I don't think we'll ever see it in our lifetime. I don't think anyone around right now will be here when Florida's underwater. At some point, it could be, though. But I think it'll be way after we've left this world, and maybe by that time we'll be living on Mars or something. So Who knows? I think that's the goal, right? That's what those guys are working on. Get to moon first, and then get from there and get to Mars. That'd be pretty cool. So, yeah. Anyway, so that was some of the big news: the flood, the rain, the big festival going on. If you guys country music fans, Tortuga Music Festival is going on down in Fort Lauderdale right now. Kenny Chesney event. It's funny. It's been here for all these years, and we thought about it one time, but it is quite expensive. It's I think it's $275 just a ticket, and I think that's 1 day ticket. I don't know if that's all 3 days, but that's going on in Fort Lauderdale right now. It's a big event down there, and a lot of great musicians there. One of the I can't remember her name, but one of the girls who's playing there is a local. She grew up in Parkland, country singer. And 10 years ago, she was in that audience watching Kenny Chesney, and now here she is going on stage herself. So that's kind of a cool story. I was reading that. I heard on the local country radio station, and so that's pretty neat to see that kind of stuff. So a lot of good. They get a lot of good concerts here, but they had a rain delay. So I know that they were supposed to go on, and they got delayed for quite a bit, and they couldn't go on stage. And they told people to leave the beach because of the storm coming through, and then they went back. Let them back in once the storm passed. They didn't want them on the beach of lightning and stuff. So thank you. The wife, Ashley Cook. If any of you are fans of Ashley Cook, she is from here, from sunny South Florida, and grew up down in Parkland, from my understanding. And now she's going to be playing at Tortuga Festival. So that's a really cool event. And who knows? Maybe one day, the wife and I will just go stay down there in a hotel and go hang out like all you young kids. But that's a hard party, man. 3 days of concert. I don't think I could do that. One day I could do, but not a whole weekend. So, all right. So some other news. What's some other news I could talk to you guys? I know I actually had some other stuff here. Give me a second. I had some stuff saved for you. I did work on a cool video. I told you guys, maybe I mentioned last week, that I'm going to be talking about rentals coming up. I'm going to be talking to people about rentals and the cost of rentals and what you can rent here in South Florida. As a lot of people are not maybe buying right this minute, although I got a busy weekend of showing homes for my buyers, but there's still people that are holding out, or they're just waiting to see what happens with the interest rates. And so they're still renting. So I am focusing some videos around renting in Florida and showing some of the different communities and like what can you rent in Boynton Beach versus Delray Beach for $2,000. The video I'm working on now, and it's coming, at least we know where the water in Arizona went. Yeah. Well, you guys needed some water for a while there, right? Oh man, those lakes out there are crazy dry. But the video I'm working on was a cool luxury new building that went up called Icon Marina Village, and they're high-rise apartments, very nice, very plush. Right on the water, but it's going to be a good video. That's going to be Sunday 12. Be sure to watch that. It's a fun video. It's pretty cool. It's really just neat place, and shows you some of the what renting is like. And I have a friend got some really, I just saw a glimpse of it, some incredible drone footage that is going to be on there. So, and it's right on the intercoastal, and you can see the ocean and the island of Palm Beach. So that's kind of fun. That video is going to be coming up. And then I did do a video. I'll have a video that talks a little bit more about the insurance and all that, putting that out and talking about some of the things that are going on with the insurance in South Florida. So, if you guys get a chance, check that out. But anyway, so let me see. So there were some new, I got to find the article. 1 second, guys. I just had it here. So So the state of Florida just signed Senate Bill 102, known as the Live Local Act, on Wednesday. And basically, days after the legislature passed in the Florida House of Representatives, in addition to setting aside funds for affordable housing, the law will supersede local government zoning density and height requirements for affordable housing in areas zoned for commercial or mixed-use development. It also strips local municipalities' ability to enact rent control, which I know a lot of people weren't happy about, and a lot of people were happy. It depends on what side of the fence you're on with that, which was previously only possible during housing emergencies. So it says developers of affordable housing and to a certain extent, those with mixed use projects will likely take advantage of the new law. said attorney Keith Polikoff of Fort Lauderdale Government Law Group. So they're trying, housing is so expensive here in Florida. It's becoming one of the least, cost-effective places, most expensive places to live. And so one of my videos I did about downtown West Palm Beach, I told you that the Related Group was putting of the units in this new high-rise rental building for workforce housing. And so we're hopefully seeing more of that. So there will be more affordable housing for people. And I think what this does is where, and I don't know all the details of it, but where a municipality may say, no, you can't build this here, or you can't do this because of certain requirements, this supersedes that and says, well, actually the state of Florida says we can, and it will allow developers to go in and start building and putting places, buildings and high rises in place for more affordable housing. So only time will tell what will happen with that. We'll see. I think that's a good start that the state's getting behind it, because we do need some more affordable housing, because there's just a lot of people who can't afford the rents. And obviously, they can't afford to buy a house right now. So we'll see what happens with that. So some interesting things, some good stuff. Some good, maybe not good. Again, how you look at it. But overall, I think it's going in the right direction. I hope so we can start getting ahead of what's happening with the housing industry. And there's more affordable housing. It's better for me because I support my family by helping people buy, rent, and sell homes. So if I can help more people get in homes, that helps me. Those people who rent, help more people rent. They in turn build equity, save money, and turn and rent and buy a house so they can build equity. That helps me as well. So that's my goal, is to help as many people buy and sell real estate. And if more people can afford it, that's better for me than just the super wealthy people. So so we'll see what happens. Hopefully things will continue to get better. Why don't you guys always I'm going to try to work some segments, right? I got to start getting some ideas of what I can ask you guys to put in and do. So I know last time someone gave me a couple ideas for some videos. I always put that out on the table. Also, I see we've got a few more people who have joined us. So thank you guys as I continue to do this. And if we can do this Friday, hopefully we'll really grow. You guys can interact with each other. But if you're new, you haven't come on here yet, my name's Paul BeachespaulG. I'm a local realtor with Keller Williams Real Estate, and I help people live here in South Florida, and I make videos about what it's like to live here. So welcome to my channel. I appreciate you watching. And I like to have a cocktail on Friday. So cheers. I'm a beer guy, craft beer, whatever your poison is. Salute. So if you want to leave a comment, say hello, say hi to you. If you got a question for me, feel free to ask a question. This interaction with you guys, just like last week, really helps this time go by where I can answer questions. You guys can feed me stuff to talk about. Because as I said, I don't always have a whole lot of stuff prepared to talk about. It's kind of more of a free for all, just a Friday event talk. I think I scared some people off. I had 10 people on and we dropped to 6. Did I scare them? Oh, now we're back to 9. All right. Welcome. So I don't know, but leave a comment. Tell me where you're from. That's right. Trust me. No one's going to bite you. So what else? What else can we say? So I'm working on the videos, working on that. What else was going on in South Florida? I'm trying to think what else we got. Any exciting news coming up? The Delray Affairs coming up, I think, soon. Hey, Pamela, welcome. Hi. How's Belle, Florida, near Live Oak? I bet Pamela, I've never heard of Belle, Florida, or Live Oak. I think Live Oak's way up in. I think Live Oak's north of Gainesville, if I remember. I think it's in Central Florida, if I remember, and I only remember that because when we drove going to Texas, I think we drove through Live Oak. So I'm not sure how it is up there. I know it's lots of farmland when you get up to certain parts up there when you're getting near Gainesville. But I'm not too familiar with where Live Oak is. Sorry, I don't know. Maybe if someone else wants to answer Pamela's question, you can, if you know about Central Florida a little bit more than I do. Oh man, it's for retirement. So kind of like the Villages, which is way up there in north of Orlando. No, not the Villages. Okay. A little more quieter than the Villages, maybe. Okay, that's what I thought, Pamela. Yeah, sounds nice. I know when I've driven through Central Florida, it's beautiful up there. It's very much. My son was in Gainesville for a while, and so it's when we go up there. And then when we used to drive to North Carolina, it really changes. South Florida is so different from the rest of Florida. It really is. It's most of Central Florida and all that's very farm, and then you got the forest way up there when you start going into the northern east part of it, or northwest part of Florida. So it gets real nice up there. But yeah, it's a big state. I've only driven through it a couple, maybe 4, 5, maybe a dozen times. Most of the time was recent when we go to North Carolina. So that's not too far. When you drive up Central Florida and then you make that left going towards I-10, that rest of that drive takes forever to get out of Florida. It's amazing. And I grew up in Texas, which is a huge state, and driving from one side of that to another is just like, it literally can take all day, if not multiple days to drive. And Florida is just, it seems like forever to when you start, especially way down here at the bottom, and you're trying to get out of it. By the time you get to the Alabama state line, it's like you need a hotel, you're done driving. So maybe in my younger days, I used to be able to get pretty far, but I know now. But let me see what we got here. So I'm from Chicago. I found a channel 3 weeks ago by trying to decide which city to live in, from Jupiter all the way down to the Keys. I want to get into fishing and boating. All right. Okay. Well, hey, we love to fish. My father-in-law goes out. My wife goes boating with my father-in-law all the time. My brother-in-law has a boat. So Jupiter all the way down to the Keys. Well, you've got plenty of great fishing spots, man, from there. Jupiter, great. There's all sorts of good fishing offshore. Inshore, you've got the Juno Beach Pier. You can fish off any of the beaches. It's incredible up there. You can go to the Jupiter Inlet, huge snook fishing there. Great place to fish. And then if you go down in the Keys, our favorite place is Isla Mirada. We love going to Isla Mirada, but if you go down Marathon's real nice too. You can go down there and go do some great fishing there. We love going to Florida Keys. I haven't done too much fishing on the Gulf side, mostly on the Atlantic side. But I know that we want to get back down there and do some fishing. So yeah, anytime, shoot me a message, Blacklight. Anytime you have any want information, I can try to tell you some places and stuff down there. Bud and Mary's Marina. You can go get a charter down there out of Isla Mirada and go do some fishing. You can do a charter, but you got to make sure you call ahead of time and get it booked. So, but it's great down there. I was told to stay away from the Gulf side because of red tide. The fish is not edible. Yeah, you just have to. You got to talk to the experts. They'll let you know. I mean, they know. Obviously, they're not going to take you out if it's red tide. Make sure you get a good, honest guide if you go out with one. But yeah, the red tide was pretty bad. But it was only bad for a little while this year. I talked to someone from the West Coast, and the red tide was very, it was a small outbreak, and then it went away. It does come back, but they didn't have a big, case of it like they've had in the past. But yeah, that's one thing we've only seen on the east coast of Florida every once in a while is the red tide. We pretty much hardly ever. I mean, maybe 2 times in my 30 years that I can remember them ever even talking about it. And it was very little. Leland, where in North Carolina? Well, we used to go to Hayesville, North Carolina. I've been to Asheville. Love Asheville. That's a fun place. As you know, I like beer, so Asheville is like beer heaven. We went and stayed in a cabin in a little place called Hayesville, where my t-shirt says, "I'd rather be lost in the mountains than found in the city." It's like that country. You're out in the middle of nowhere, and we'd go out on Lake Chatouche, and we would do pontoon boating, and we would get the inner tube and the skiing. We'd rent a pontoon and go out there on the lake, and it was a blast, man. I mean, it's great living. Like when I say, if I was ever to leave Florida, I think that's where my wife and I could actually see ourselves. Like it's so beautiful up there, and she loves the mountains. and we do like to change the season. And if we were to go anywhere from Florida, it probably would be North Carolina. Plus, we know friends that live up there and stuff. So what's that? Oh yeah, we have a friend that lives in Burnsville, which is a cool little town. So yeah, we like North Carolina. It's fun up there. It's pretty. So although it was July and we were at the lake and I was cold, that just made no sense. That didn't register in my head. I'm like, why am I cold? It's July. So down in those mountains, man, and all that cold air comes down. So but it's pretty. It's a pretty place up there. So but I like my Florida weather. I like getting out, hit the beach. I was down by the beach the other day. It was kind of nice shooting the video yesterday. It was windy and but it's still nice to be over by the beach. So that'd be hard to get away from the ocean. That's I love the ocean so much. So cool, very cool. Let me see what other some comments in here. Is that like the farm? Yeah. All right. So all right, that's cool. Good deal. Good deal. So yeah, so I got the one video done, got another one I got to work on, and then I'll be looking for some other rentals. I reached out to a couple places today. I asked them if I could do some videos of their rental units, and I'm going to show people what I'm going to do is look for $2,000 rentals. I found some rentals for $2,000 a month, and what I'm going to do is go pick two of the nicest ones. Like some of them just weren't that nice, and there's no point in showing that. So I just want to kind of show people here's what you can actually find for $2,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. And then I'll talk about the area and show you the area that rental's in and give you an idea of like, here's a grocery store, here's a great pizza shop. So someone who's looking can get an idea of what living here might be like. And also if they're looking to rent, they're like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. I can rent there. That's a nice place. And then it gives them an idea. So I'll kind of try and do a little bit of that, just kind of help people out that are looking. And then I do have some new construction that came up and trying to do some more new construction. I just try to mix it up because some of my clients want new construction. Some of my people are looking for rentals. Some people are just looking to come down here and hang out in South Florida. And that's why I make videos like that, showing you those kind of places so you can get out and go do that. So when are you coming? So Blacklight, are you looking to come down? Like are you from Chicago? Are you down here now? Are you still up in Chicago? Are you just kind of researching? More of a renter than a buyer if I moved. Okay, so there you answered the question. Answer the question. So you're looking to be here. Yeah. Watch those videos. It'll kind of help you out. And if you have any questions, you can always reach out to me, and I can help you with the rental process here. I just had a closing today I had a house that I got rented for my customers, and they're going back to Canada, and they'll be there until November, and then they'll come back down. And so they rented their house out for 6 months, and we just got that done today. Yeah, I'm in Chicago. Won't be moving until next year because I have some things to finish up. Very nice. Very cool. That's another city I haven't been to. You got to go check out Chicago. Need to get up there, go get some deep dish pizza. Go up there, some good blues music. So my sister lived in Chicago for a while, way back when she was working with Starbucks when it was first starting. And she was actually hired by Starbucks to open Starbucks in Texas. So she came back and helped get Starbucks opened in the state of Texas way back when they were first coming here. So, and she had lived there for a while. So it's another one of those cool cities I'd like to go check out. So, so here's something that figured since I asked you guys, since you're watching, since I'm kind of trying to just think of stuff to ask you guys about. And don't come to Chicago. Left downtown has gotten crazy. Shootings, carjacking. So yeah, I work in downtown. Well, there's a viewer who found my YouTube channel. He lives in and if I remember this correctly, what he said, I think I heard him correctly. He said is he said it came down in price, but he lived in a condo in I don't know, is it Miracle Mile or Millionaire Mile or something like that. Anyway, he said his condo was like $14 million, but he was looking for a condo down here in Florida. He wanted to get out of Chicago because he said he didn't feel safe in his condo anymore, walking down there. And I'm like, wow, this guy lives in a $14 million condo and he doesn't feel safe walking out the street in front of his condo building. That was kind of enlightening. So he was looking to move down to Florida, but we couldn't find anything for him to rent. He wanted to rent something for a few months to see if he liked it. And unfortunately, the rentals are so hard to find, especially seasonal rentals. They're next to impossible to find. If you guys are thinking of coming down here and renting for the season, do it early. I don't do much with seasonal rentals. I can try to help you, but they're like usually 3 and 4 month rentals, but they're next to impossible to find. People have already booked them up for next winter, and it's crazy because we just came out of winter and they're already booked for next winter. So, well, I'd have to, if I go to Chicago, I'll have to ask you where I can go. It is one of those places I'd like to go check out, be the tourist and go see some cool stuff. You got some cool museums and stuff. So, so there's a whole lot of videos out there talking about the real estate market and, talking about the real estate market crashing and all the stuff that's going on and everything. And, be interested. What do you guys think about that? Do you guys watch a lot of those videos? I've tried. Like I said, I did do a video talking about insurance that's coming out, but I don't do a lot of those videos. For one, I think there's a lot of people doing them already. Let's move on from that topic. Sorry, you got it. Hey, Ricardo, thanks, man. Appreciate it. So you see a lot of people making the videos, talking about everything in the market crashing and all that. And I've never really gone that route with my channel. I've always tried to just kind of continue to show you what South Florida's like, because, maybe you have to move here and you don't have an option. So at least make the best of it and, show you what there is good about it. Even though the situation of real estate is what it is, I try to show you where you're going to be able to spend a weekend with your wife or kids or yourself, or what beach you might want to go hang out on. So, I've always sort of steered away from making those other type of videos. And they're great. They get a lot of views. They get a ton of comments. They get a lot of people on there. But it's not something that I've ever been real comfortable doing. But what do you guys think? What do you think of those type of videos? Now, we'll tell you a great channel that's in Central Florida. I don't know if any of y'all watch. A friend up there named Ken Pozak. He does videos all about Orlando. Have any of y'all ever watched Ken? He has an amazing channel with about 37,000 subscribers. Great guy. And I talk to him every once in a while. And hey, Hector, how's it going? Yeah, I subscribed to your channel because other realtor videos are too touristy. What's the neighborhood vibe is like, so I know what I can do and eat. Cool, thanks, man. Well, that's what I tried to do. I've always tried to make this channel about someone who lived here for 30 years, show you what it's like, get outside, get out of the house. I do this because, hey guys, it's my house and I can do a live stream and we have internet that works, unlike my phone. And so I like doing these for you because I get a chance to talk to you and get a feel for what's going on and answer some questions. But I've always been more comfortable making videos about, hey, this is a cool neighborhood. And I like history. I'm a big history geek. I love historical places. And that doesn't always translate into maybe real estate, but I like showing that to you because if you're going to live here and you're like, hey, I want to move to Florida, then I like showing you these historical facts about South Florida, which you may like too, or maybe your kids like, whatever. So I have some fun ideas about some really cool, there's a lot of history over on the island of Palm Beach. There's some really cool buildings over there. When I was in my younger days, I was a copier fax salesman. So I sold fax machines. And so I had some really cool accounts on the island of Palm Beach. That was my territory. And some of the buildings that I got to go into because I had that account are like super exclusive clubs that never going to get in. No, another one everyone's probably thinking, no, I've never been in Mar-a-Lago, even before he bought it way back. Well, he bought it actually before I lived here. So, but never been in Mar-a-Lago. Love to. I love the history aspect. I would love to go see that place. It'd be amazing. It's supposed to be incredible inside. But I have been in the Everglades Club. I was in the Bath and Tennis Club. Those opened up in 1919 and 1921. And I've been in the Palm Beach Golf Club or whatever, which is a golfing club, which opened in like 1954. And again, the only reason I got to go into those was because I was during the daytime because it was my account. Yeah, discipline. So the buddy I was telling you about that got me the epic drone shots, which is going to be my video, guys, is on here called How Disciplined, Hector. And yeah, I'm sure you'll get the drone shots of Mar-a-Lago. You'll have a guy with a sharpshooter blasting your drone to a billion pieces. But it was cool. So I got to go into these really historical old buildings. Like the Everglades Club was designed by Addison Meisner. He designed a lot of stuff in throughout Florida, the whole look, the Meisner look, they call it. He designed a lot of buildings and gave a lot of Worth Avenue and some really cool places. If you've ever been to Boca, the Boca Raton Country Club down there, the hotel, or Boca Raton Hotel, he designed that. He was an architect. And so I got to go into, the Everglades Club is super exclusive. I mean, like we're talking exclusive, guys. It's like they don't let anyone in. You have to be invited. Apparently they wouldn't let John F. Kennedy in when he wanted to be a member. It's that picky. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. That was a fun video. Yeah. And so it was cool because I walked in this building that had been around that was designed at first. It was supposed to be for wounded soldiers back during World War I. And then the war ended. And then Addison Meisner and I don't remember his first name, but Singer, as in Singer Sewing Machines. Yeah, he was down here. And there were a couple of playboys. They were rich guys partying. Singer was down here, and he convinced them to build or help design that building. And it became a private club back in the early 1900s. And so I remember walking in there and sitting in these chairs that are like huge, like this wide, huge chairs with backs that come all the way up, sitting in front of a fireplace that would take up my whole back wall. And just the detail and the craftsmanship, all the stuff handmade was just outstanding. And I remember walking through this place and just like being in part of history and knowing the people who'd been through there, like Rockefellers and Vanderbilts and Phipps and all these people these multi-tycoons who built the country. So it's kind of cool to go through it. And then I remember I got to go to the Bath and Tennis Club, which is a really cool place as well, place over there. And it was right there on the ocean, and it's right across from Mar-a-Lago. As you pass Mar-a-Lago, if you've ever gone past Mar-a-Lago on the left, Bath and Tennis Club is right on the right. And the guy in there was really cool. He was telling me the history about it and how when a hurricane came through in the 1920s and wiped out a big section of it, and then they had to go back and rebuild it. Just a lot of cool history. It just really neat. I like old stuff like that. I like old buildings. That's probably why I like real estate. If I could sell architecturally or historically old homes, it would be really cool, although it'd probably be a major headache during the process. But I just love old stuff. So, and then the other country club is okay. It's built in the 50s, and it's nothing that it's exclusive. It's a golf club, but it's nothing too exciting to get into. So there's some really cool history over there on the island. So I want to go back and make some more videos. It's just fun to make videos about that stuff. I guess maybe because I just have a passion for it. So, and there's some other cool little places in Florida. I like finding neat things about Florida and sharing that with you, because you guys who don't live here probably don't know about it. Maybe you do. Maybe your parents lived here. Maybe you had a grandparent that lived here. Maybe a friend, maybe not. And so it's neat to be able to show you some cool stuff like that. Like there's a place called Caps. It's down in Deerfield, I think. It's a restaurant. So it's on a little island. And so it's really cool. You take a ferry to get over to it. And the reason it's cool is because it's where all the rum runners used to come, and Al Capone, that's the name of the place, Caps. They would come in through the Hillsborough Inlet from the lighthouse. They'd go through these little back ways, and they would sneak in, and they would unload their rum and stuff there. So it's a really cool, so it was a gangster hangout, but it's this restaurant, and it's super cool. So let me see. Well, I see we got a couple comments. Paul, I love the Palm Beach history video. Palm Beach has always been a destination of our family, and it was good to see your videos until it ended, and I saw it was still. Oh, I was still in Ohio. Thanks, Eric. I appreciate it. And yeah, it's fun to go over there. That is a fun place. One of my good clients works at the Breakers Hotel, And my wife just had an event there. She works for a nonprofit. And my wife was like, God, this place is incredible. And I said, yeah, it is. It's just stunning what people could build, back then before we had all the modern technology, just true craftsmanship, true artisans of just building stuff like that. Just like going to the Vanderbilt Mansion in North Carolina. You're just like, how did they build this back then? They didn't have all the technology that we have now, but skilled people. So let me read some comments. Blacklight, I'm not into the party scene. You get tired of people showing South Beach when you want to know about the rest of Miami. For example, I want a neighborhood that has a family vibe. I'm single people. Sure, no, I get that. That's Listen, and so you'll see in my videos that sometimes I do show Delray. Sometimes I point out the party scene. I'm 57, so I'm not part of the party scene anymore. I'm Friday talking to you guys, but I still know that some young viewers every once in a while, some young people find my channel and they want to know where to go, and I'm happy to share with them where my kid, who's older, who's 29, and when he comes to town, where he goes and stuff. So on that same note, are there some old bars that would be neat to go down to? Okay, so thanks, Leland. Good segue. So yeah, so I'm gonna try to make some more videos about the cool stuff to see, old cool things from Vero Beach down. There's some really neat stuff. There's a cool place. Honey, where's the place in Vero? What's the hotel?
What?
What's the hotel in Vero that I want to go see? The Driftwood. So there's a cool place that she went with. So there's a neat place up there. It's been there forever. It's called the Old Driftwood, and it's just a really cool hotel, and it's been there forever. So I want to try and show you that kind of stuff. But all right. So note, are there some old bars that would be neat to go to down there? Okay, Leland, let me think about this. I don't do a lot of bars, but I have been to a few in my old days. First, Key Lime. The Key Lime House in Lantana, great bar, one of the oldest standing restaurants in the state of Florida. It's right on the water. They've added to it over the years. It's incredible. It's pretty good food. You're there for the atmosphere. You're there to have fun, drinks, listen to the reggae band. Super cool place. Key Lime House, Lantana, Florida. So you can Google it, find it. That's a cool place to go to. Not old, but very cool. No kids allowed, but it's so cool that Alan Jackson filmed his video there. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. The Square Grouper in Jupiter. Awesome hangout, right on the water, right across from the Jupiter Lighthouse. It's awesome. It's a fun place, lots of good fun there. You can have drinks and enjoy it. That's a really cool place. Not old, but it's still cool. It's got a very cool factor. If you want to go to, let me see. So coming down into Boynton Beach, there is Two Georges right on the water. That's a nice little bar to hang out. It's been there for a very long time. Lots of fun, pretty good food. It's right on the Intracoastal. You see all the boats go by. It's really cool. My wife just told me another neat bar, which isn't old, but it's a great restaurant, is the Sailfish Marina. That's over on Singer Island, and that's a whole marina, and it's where they do a lot of sailfish competitions out of. Very neat bar, little pricey, pretty good food. You can, if you have kids, it's cool because they have all these Jack Crevalles. Jack is a fish that comes in there, and you can throw food down, and they'll go after it. And they're huge, and some of them are like really huge, big Jack Crevalles. So that's kind of a cool thing to go check out, Sailfish. And then let's see, coming down to Delray Beach. Let's get out of Boynton, go south. Go into Delray Beach, go to the Blue Anchor pub. It's super cool. It's an old British pub, good fish and chips, good beer. What's super cool about it is the place is haunted. And yes, you can go look on YouTube, Blue Anchor. Go on YouTube and look in the Blue Anchor pub, Delray Beach. You'll find videos. They've had paranormal people go in there. It is a haunted bar. The facade of this bar was actually from London, England. And the story is that the bar owner or the people back in England, he found his wife cheating and he killed her. And so she haunts the place. And so when they shipped the facade of this, like I guess the main part of the bar, right? They kept the outside of it. And they brought it and stored in a warehouse in Jersey for a really long time. And then they brought it down sometime in the 80s, I think, or the early 90s to Delray Beach. So part of it is actually from, and part of the inside is actually from London. So it was pretty cool place, and that's a neat bar to go to. And then let me think. There's also, let me think. So I'm trying to think of cool places, but there's plenty of regular bars. There is that's pretty much for Delray. The rest of the bars are pretty much typical bars in Delray, right? They're just bars. And Johnny Brown's is cool. Johnny Brown's is great. It's right on the railroad track. Good live music. Just a cool place. Nothing fancy. Which I like. I like kind of cool bars that are like, I don't like foo-foo bars. Like it's kind of dive bars are kind of fun to go to. So, and then from there, the only other bar I know that's really cool is the Green Parrot in Fort Lauderdale. Famous bar. If you ever spring break to Fort Lauderdale, you guys, anyone here is old enough and maybe went back spring break there. I was in Texas, but it's a cool bar. Nothing fancy. It's right there. It's downtown Fort Lauderdale, right by the beach, and it's a super cool old bar. So it's called the Green Parrot. So if you want to go check that out, that's supposed to be a pretty cool bar. And then Leland, from there, I don't know, man. I never went to bars in Broward. Beyond that, I don't know what bars are down in Miami that are cool. I'm sure there are some very cool old bars in Miami that you could find, even away from South Beach. There's probably some really cool places. You just have to Google it. And then there's, on the way down to the Florida Keys, there's a bar. It's like, says the Last Stop Saloon or something like that. I've never stopped there, but I know I need to one day. We're always like, let's get to the Keys. So we never stopped there, but Last Stop Saloon, I forgot I think that's what it's called, but there's a cool place down in the Florida Keys. If you guys ever been to the Florida Keys, check that bar out. It's supposed to be pretty cool. And of course there's dollar bills all on the sign up on top. Every square inch of the thing's covered with dollar bills. So see how that works? Leland asked me a question about bars, and I got to talk to you guys about bars and got off, the topic of whatever. Just, it's a free for all. It helps when you guys throw questions to me and I can talk about stuff. So, sometimes it's hard for me to think about what to tell you guys, but I've lived here 30 years. But when you guys ask a question, then it all comes flooding back, and I can tell you just fun stuff or weird stuff or, dumb stuff about living here in Florida. All right, I need a drink. Cheers. My phone's over here like going crazy with messages. I'm just sure it's like I do a live stream and all of a sudden my phone starts blowing up. So Blacklight is making dinner. Blacklight is cooking dinner. Well, there you go. I hope you're making something good. I had a delicious hibachi dinner that my wife made tonight. She cooks on a blacktop, it's called Blackstone, and we had steak and steak and chicken, and I call it fake. I call it fake rice. She makes me eat cauliflower rice. She's trying to keep me healthy. It's not real rice. It's cauliflower, but she calls it rice, healthy rice. And onions and mushrooms and broccoli. It was awesome. So it's like I have my own Benihanas in my backyard right here. I got Angie Hana. So it was delicious. It was good stuff. So cool. And we're coming up on 53 minutes, guys. We've been talking for an hour. So if I can keep doing this every Friday, and I'll try to get more material. One of the things I was going to try and do is have more stuff to talk to you about. I was trying to think of what else was going on in South Florida right now. A lot of the big events, the season winds down and becomes summer, and it gets a little bit more slow. There's not as many events. Let's say Tortuga Music Festival's going on. Barrett Jackson's going on. The big auction. I think that's going on. Or maybe that was last week. Maybe I'm getting it mixed up, but I know it's just here. Didn't you say the Delray Fair is this weekend? Yeah. So Delray Fair is going on. So if any of y'all ever come down to Delray, the Delray Fair is a huge outdoor. The whole street of Atlantic Avenue is blocked off. It's just a big art festival. So, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, it's on Atlantic Avenue. Atlantic Avenue is the main road that runs east and west downtown Delray Beach, and they block off a big section of it from like just north of Swinton, a little north of Swinton, all the way down. And there's all sorts of artists selling all sorts of cool stuff. Like, I don't know, that sign there, and the old man lives here, right? The old fisherman. The Malibu sign, the surfboard over there. Just a few of the items. I don't know that we got all those items there. So the fish art back there. So a lot of cool stuff like that. Thanks, Leland. I appreciate it. Yeah, those are thanks. Yeah, get good spots to go to. Those are all fun bars. They're all pretty cool and neat people hang around. You get to talk to locals. So it's always a good way to learn a place is go have drinks with locals, right? Like go talk to people that have lived somewhere for a while. Have a beer with them. Buy them a beer. Ask them, hey, what's it like living down here? Do you like it? You'll get an answer. Might not be the answer you're looking for. They may say they hate it, but you'll get an answer nonetheless. So you may make a friend. You may have the beer and get up and leave real quick. So you never know who you can sit down next to. But I like that. It's most everyone I've ran into. I grew up in Texas, and everyone I've met, for the most part, has been super cool in Florida. I came here from Texas, and I met a bunch of New Yorkers, right? And I was like, those Yankees, all those damn New Yorkers. And my next door neighbors were some of the coolest people from New York. They would invite me over. Hey, Paul, come over. We're cooking all this food. Bring your wife and kids over, like that. Just super cool people. So, there's just in general, I think just people are good people, and you just got to, be nice to people, and they'll be nice back. And if they're not, move on, right? It's just like, all right, later. I don't have time for this. So, well, hey guys, I appreciate it. Thanks. We're like almost at an hour now, 56 minutes, unless anyone's got any last requests or any comments or anything. The wife says, have a good weekend. She's happy. She's chilling out. It's a weekend. She, unlike me, who's a realtor and can kind of sometimes work and sometimes play on the internet and make videos, she works hard all week long. So I love you, honey. She's a hard worker. So anyway, guys, I really do appreciate you coming on, and Leland and everyone. Thank y'all so much for asking the questions. I hope I was able to answer them for you. You guys can always reach me. My email, phone number is there at all my videos, so you can reach out and ask any questions about real estate or just ask me about Florida. I've had people call and ask me, Paul, what's a good hotel? And I'll tell them what I know. So, yeah, stay safe, stay dry. I think the weather's supposed to be good for us for the rest of the weekend. Keep my fingers crossed. And cheers. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And be sure to watch my video on Sunday. It's a good video, guys. I like it. It's a cool, I know it's a rental community. It's a cool rental community, but it's beautiful. And wait till you see the drone shots. The drone shots are going to be epic. Thank you, Hector. That's like just amazing drone shots. It shows you how beautiful South Florida is. And all right, guys, enjoy paradise. Cheers.